Hello, my audience. I'm reviewing Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Spider-Man trilogy. Gotta clean my glasses. There's a little fog on them. Sorry about that. Anyway, now where was I? Oh yes, Spider-Man's Home trilogy by Marvel Studios, starring Tom Holland in all three outings, plus Andrew Garfield Maguire in the third outing with Holland's Spider-Man, playing their Spider-Mans in multiverse shenanigan plot. So anyway, I don't really care about any of these movies, really. I think they all kind of sucked. As 2 points out of 10. I struggle to find anything I like about these movies other than the cameos from the other heroes that aren't Spider-Man. Doctor Strange, the other two Spider-Mans, Iron Man, Nick Fury. Okay, he's technically found the, but he's not the superhero, but he's definitely the one that brought the heroes together with the Avengers initiative. So it kind of counts. I didn't like the suit this time. To me, it looked like a motion capture CGI effect. 100%. They didn't make that, it looks like. It looks more funnier than the CGI Green Lantern suit from 2011. CGI Green Lantern was actually good for his time, I thought. The suit. But as it ages, it doesn't look as good as it used to. Because they never made the thing, and that's why I'm feeling what's people are going to think of the Holland's trilogy when people look back on them 10 years from now. After they give it 10, they'll make after Spider-Man 4 comes on 10 years from now, they're going to think, what's this original trilogy? And this suit looks like shit and fake, because it is probably fake and it's just CGI and never got made. And instead of actually making this thing, they decide to get the laser out and just make it 1% out of CGI, thinking that counts the same. And nobody's going to give it a hard time because it's Marvel, even though we give Warner Bros. DC this hard time for Green Lantern doing that shit. Making the mask and the costume 100% CGI animation. And not actually making the thing. Why do I feel like if Green Lantern got a sequel to Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern, we would have got they would have learned from their mistakes. The filmmakers would have learned from mistakes if they made Green Lantern 2 and probably actually make a Green Lantern costume for Ryan Reynolds to wear. And the villain's Sinestro, who teased it to be the main villain of Green Lantern 2 that we never got. Why do we hate Green Lantern again? Because the more I'm thinking about this, I'm hating Tom Holland's movies. And appreciating the hell out of Green Lantern with starring Ryan Reynolds a lot more. Each time I see these Holland movies with Spider-Man. I appreciate Green Lantern more. And Holland's Spider-Man a lot less each time. Viewing these Holland movies. It's like, I tried watching the first time. I didn't hate the first time any of these, particularly, except for the 3. But that's because I was so let down by by the trailers for the first 2 ones. Because I was expecting better than what the final product was. And Brand New Day looks like it's going to be a decent trailer. It looks like it's going to be better than the actual movie, probably. Similar to my first feelings, the first two Spider-Man was Holland's. The third one I didn't know what to expect. Something different or something more of the same. What I got was more of the same shit from Holland's. So I'm expecting Brand New Day's not going to be that much different. Because it's not a reboot or it's part of a franchise or a franchise, so I'm expecting to do the same show as Holland's because, well, the last one made so much money that other than Holland's movie or any other Spider-Man movies to this day. Even the Spider-Verse movie, the last Holland's movie. But I just don't want to see it in theaters anymore. I'm tired of all Spider-Man. Unless it's Andrew Garfield or Miles Morales from the Spider-Verse movies, I'm never going to go to theaters to see Spider-Man or be interested or hype enough. Because I've been let down, so burnt out by all of the Spider-Mans movies, majority of them. For Holland's and Maguire's run. I have hit burned out from them. Don't want to see a single Spider movie on live action, a single Spider movie, cartoon or animated or live action on the big screen ever again, unless it's the Amazing Spider-Man 3 starring Andrew Garfield or Miles Morales Spider-Man 3 from the Spider-Verse movies, which is scheduled to go out next year, the Miles movie. But maybe they'll get canceled. But because normally whenever I like something Spider-Man related, it usually gets canceled anyway. Miles is probably next from the Spider-Verse movies, you know? I'm kind of wanting to not want this movie to do well, the new Brand New Day. Because while I love it, the movie, I hate the movie, or like the movie, or I have mixed feelings about the movie. For Spider-Man 4, if this ain't the last Spider-Man costume he ever wears, and they don't change it, I think this is going to be the only Spider-Man movie I'm probably going to not hate. Because they actually looks like they made the costume, not just made out of CGI. But something's telling me they're going to go back to the CGI costume after Brand New Day for Spider-Man 5 if the F really happens. So I better like the Spider-Man movie, even though it's probably going to be the only decent thing from Holland's right before they go back to the same old shit. Who's the character that they used for the formula was MCU's for Sony Spider-Man movie with Disney and Sony working together. It was Holland's run. So, I'm basically kind of hoping and expecting the worst for Spider-Man Brand New Day financially and critical and audience-wise feedback. I want to for come out to hear the feedback from it. And if it's bad, audience and critics hated it, I'm going to be interested in seeing it. If it's financial successful or not, if it's like hated by audience but financial successful was audiences and audience hated and critics hated or critics like an audience hated, that will make me feel like if audience and critics and hated an audience, they really don't like it either, but it's financially successful, but it's terrible negative feedback, I'm going to want to see it, knowing me. Because usually whenever the audience hates Spider-Man, I am the one that's on board for Spider-Man. That's probably due to the brainwash that Sam Raimi's got to do with the brainwashing the audience and to not knowing better, which is a better portrayal of Spider-Man. Because Sam Raimi was the first one to direct it to the big screen, so after that one, Andrew was more comic book accurate and more likable. He didn't go as well liked because the audience didn't know because they were used to Sam Raimi directing and Maguire phoning it in as Spider-Man and Peter Parker, giving the worst performance of his career. In my opinion, that's what it is. Spider-Man. Spider-Man is the worst thing he's ever done. And touched and played all 3 times for the big screen. Tom Maguire. It's still the worst Spider-Man next to Tom Holland's. Tom Holland's slightly better, but in some ways he's slightly worse. Story narrative. His story narrative is worse than his character growth, story narrative, and progression of character is actually worse than Maguire's, but he's a better actor than Maguire. He has more range of talent with his acting range. Maguire is not a bad actor, but he's a limited range actor, like Gal Gadot, or like Scarlett Johansson, or Samuel L. Jackson, or Mark Wahlberg, or what's his name? Tom Cruise. That's it. You know what to expect from them, but you don't believe that they would be the most relatable character, or fleshed out, or complex character, but still likable. Like Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movies is as stupid as written wise, story wise. I think some of the Michael Bay movies that I've seen. But why I think Mission Impossible gets more liked than Transformers, because nobody does real world stunt action like Tom Cruise. Put his life on the line like Tom, for real, and does all of his own stunts to this day as he's getting up there in age. So what, I wasn't a big fan of the first Mission Impossible. I love the sequels though. Every sequel is superior than the first one of Tom Cruise Mission Impossible franchise. I stand by that. So where was I going to talk about? Oh yes, Tom Holland's Spider-Man stinks. As a 2 out of 10. The whole trilogy. Now I'm going to review Spider-Man original OG trilogy with Tom Maguire and the 70s USA American Spider-Man television show from the 70s that lasted 1 season. I thought these adaptations of Spider-Man were just as good as each other. Shit. Beyond my description, or my imagination, or my beliefs. And it tested my sanity. I felt like I was going crazy, and then I felt like I died like Humpty Dumpty, who fell off a brick wall, and all his king's horsemen couldn't put him back together again. That's who I feel like, Humpty Dumpty, watching these Spider-Man adaptations. So Spider-Man 1 and 2, 2.1 cut of Spider-Man 2, both get all 3, including this 2.1 cut, which counts as a third. So 2 Spider-Man movies, and counting the 2.1 cut is a third copy of the movie, around 18 or 8 added minutes long footage. Spider-Man 2. I give those movies 2 points out of 10. I hated them. And I hated the 70s Spider-Man show. The whole season. And whenever Spider-Man Spice go off, it makes me think I'm having a seizure. Because the bright lights, flashy editing with the bright, colorful lights, it looks like I'm having a seizure to me. And that's what I thought it was, having a seizure. Because of how flashing the lights out when the Spice Sense go off on the show. It's like it looks like Spider-Man's possessed, because where his Spice Sense go off, you see his pupil disappear, and flashing lights covers where his eyes should be, and around his head is flashing lights. It's like edited like a horror flick, that the Spider Sense. And this is supposed to be an action show, but not a horror show, but it's edited like a horror show with how it edits the Spider Sense in the show. It's like, And this is like drags on this show. This so sucks so much. I'm glad there's only one season of this. 1970s Spider-Man. Thank God there wasn't fucking a long season run of this show. I think it was like one episode seasons of this show, and TV movies of this show tied into their show before two TV movies came out, then the show episodes came out, and then it ran for 2 or 1 seasons before it got canceled because it was so much shit. Even Stan Lee said it was good special effects for his time, but it lacked the heart and humor of what I liked about Spider-Man when I was working on him at Marvel. But it was good visual effects for his time, but it would lack the humor and heart and relatability of Spider-Man that I created. It was when I was writing Marvel Spider-Man comics. Yeah, Stanley said that, and I couldn't agree with him more. I couldn't agree with him more, you Stan. You really are right on that. But you're also wrong on 2002 Spider-Man movie, saying it's better than the comics because they're played by real actors, real flesh and blood. I think the reason why he said that because he was also stunned by the modern CGI that they used for the movie that wasn't fully polished and ready to release. Or maybe he just thought it was great because it was so much better than the 70s adaptation. That's probably why. The first American 70s adaptation came out around the same time the Japanese live action adaptation. Guess which one was better? The Japanese one, Spider-Man. Then one came out in our country in the 70s. And 2002 Spider-Man was better than the 70s Spider-Man from our country series of Spider-Man because that Japanese Spider-Man has a different Spider-Man civilian name and different methods of taking care of bad guys. That's for another video, but that's why 70s Spider-Man gets a 2 out of 10 that we made in this country for the 70s show. And Spider-Man 1 and 2 and 2.1, all three movies get 2 points out of 10. I forgot about Spider-Man 3, 2007. I give that a 6 out of 10. That's the one I kind of liked. But I'm more lukewarm on liking that movie. Because the first 2 ones hurt so much watching. I felt betrayed as a fan of his character. I felt betrayed by most of the stuff. Unless it's Andrew or Miles, I just can't get into liking big screen Spider-Man betrays because I feel betrayed often and pissed off and empty and sad inside. Like I want to go to bed giving up and throw away all of my Spider-Man comics and cartoon collection of the cartoon shows. That's what Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man makes me feel like. I want to throw away all of my old Spider-Man and Ultimate and Amazing Spider-Man old comics from back in the day that I can't really get single issues anymore. I want to burn those or throw those away sometime just by thinking about Maguire's and Holland's Spider-Man in the 70s. But I realize that's irrational. I really don't want to do that. I just hate this movie that much. With the big screen Spider-Mans. All of them that I talked about in this video. And the small screen Spider-Man from the 70s, I hate. That's my review on Spider-Man show and 2 of the movie franchises. Home franchise trilogy and the original OG Spider-Man trilogy. Like this video, subscribe, like this video. My name is Jalen Graham. Okie dokie, goodbye.